We still do 7 NUFC Matters show a week for free. But if you want to help support NUFC Matters, then there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast and video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications bell so you don't miss a single show. If you want to help us financially, then you can join the channel using this button with the membership starting at $1.99 a month. Or you can drop us a donation in the chat using a super sticker. We're also looking for sponsors. If you'd like your brand advertised on the flyers for the show and featured during the ad break, then email John at nufcmatters.com to arrange today.
Attack. It feels like I've been talking to myself again, but it's the only way you're ever gonna learn. You look back and it's all in the past. I'm dwelling on the thoughts I cannot say to you.
Good evening and Happy New Year. Welcome to NUFC Matters, the fans forum, and it's good evening to George, Darren, Spenny, Chippers, Ian, Donald, Kevin and Alan, and plenty to talk about tonight. Of course, we'll be looking back at the Liverpool game yesterday and looking ahead to the FA Cup tie against Sunderland at the weekend. And first up, we just want to say happy anniversary for yesterday to Kevin and his wife. Congratulations, Kev.
Thank you, lads. Thank you. Second year in. So...
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff.
Cheers.
Excellent stuff. I hope you had a good one. Okay, George, let's look back at the game last night. Newcastle travelled to Anfield. I expected nothing. We got nothing. I'd gone for a penman. I thought Newcastle would lose 3-1. It was 4-2. Probably it would have been a lot worse if it hadn't been for Martin Dubravka last night. But a comprehensive defeat away from home. There was a bit of fight, George. I'll give them that. The goals they scored, two good goals by Newcastle. That was a bright spot. But very few players come out of it with any credit. Dubravka potentially reminded me of the old days when Newcastle were fighting relegation battles, and goalkeepers had a lot to do. And the season's not going to be judged on games against Liverpool and Man City this season, I don't think. But we need to find some form and quickly, George. But yeah, a defeat nonetheless.
Finding form would be a good bit, but we've lost our spirit as well in some ways. The drive that was our team was our midfield, and last night we didn't have a midfield really. Liverpool just ran through. From start to finish, we just couldn't handle what they offered. The other bright thing, you're absolutely right, Dubravka. My understanding is he actually made 10 direct saves on his goal that would have been goals if he hadn't stopped them. Now, that in one game, that's a lot. But when you look at how many shots they had on goal, into 30s, and we had 12, 15, it's just so depressing, absolutely depressing. The other thing that's bothered us for a while now is that we seem to have lost our togetherness. There's something gone in that dressing room, and I don't know what it is and why it is. But as I said, Liverpool just rode through a midfield as though it didn't exist anymore. Joe Linton did put up some spirited effort and defence, and he was all over, but at least he did try. He did give it a go. But after that, and I sincerely hope after last night that the experiment of Dan Burn at left back's over. He's a good centre half, and that's where he should stay. He's never going to be a good left back, that's for sure. And any of the good left backs that were sitting on the bench, I don't think there was any on the bench, would have been crying at the way he was overrun down that side of the field. So yeah, I hope that's an experiment that's over. Up front, Isaac showed some form, scored a brilliant goal. And then after that, I'm struggling to find anything good to say about them. They just were so half measures. The other thing is that after last night, that should be the end of VAR for me as well. There was 3 opportunities for VAR to get involved, and they got everyone wrong. Everyone, not one, not 2, all of them. Everyone where they got involved, they were wrong. And even Liverpool supporters in the studio were saying they were wrong as well. And I think the best one was Ian Wright saying that it's the first time he's seen a player dive for a penalty when he had an open bloody goal. He could have walked the ball in the back of the net, and he just chose to dive for a penalty instead. I mean, and got away with it. So the other experiment with the Premier League is that Northwest referees referee Northwest teams like Manchester United, Manchester City, and Liverpool and Everton. That's got to come to an end and all, because have somebody who's a bush ride away from where he's refereeing. Can it be right? Can it be right? Very depressing. I did say in my prediction that if the team that started to get the second half against Nottingham Forest, if they turned out, we would get a shellacking. Well, it wasn't quite that bad, but it wasn't much better. And players who you look to get something out of just weren't at the races last night. Sadly, Anthony Gordon, there was none of the sparkle there. So yeah, more than depressing. It was really bad, and they've got to shake themselves up. Otherwise, we're going to be looking at the wrong end of the league table.
Yeah, Darren, depressing result, depressing Christmas. It's crazy because three weeks ago we were still, I know I was jokingly saying it, but we were still in all 4 competitions. We were looking good in the Premier League. We were still in Europe. We're still in the Carabao Cup. And we had the FA Cup to come. But within 3 weeks, it's just been an absolute car crash. What was last night? What was your view on last night, Darren?
Yeah, I agree with Steve. It's been like a tragic incident what's happened. But Liverpool are a good team. You've got to give them some respect. But their team are quite these world-class players, and we haven't got world-class players. And that shows me how far we've got to go to get to that next level. And George hitting the damn bird for the first goal. What was he doing? I thought he was going to change his top or something. The way he was running, and the goal come from the left from Mo Salah on that side. So that, yes, a lot of errors, but I'm not one of these. Like people's on meltdown. It's like sack Eddie Howe. He's lost so many games. I'm not with that. If I sack him, I think it's worse for us because you hear in the day Newcastle got to sell players to get players in. And I hope we get the season. You know what I mean? Like I hope the man of Sabian and the Saudi knows they've got to stick with him. They knew even on the documentary when the team qualified for the Champions League, they have a massive fall, so they're all aware of that. But I just think everybody's. It just showed last year how far we overachieved massively, and our squad are probably 5 transfers away to make it anywhere compete with the top 4 as it is now. So it hurts. It is hurting. I hate to lose, because it's been a bad Christmas, I think, for everybody. And but we just got to move on and get Sunderland. That's the one now. We cannot lose that one.
Yep. Okay. Spenny, give us your views on last night's game.
Well, we were playing Liverpool for start off, weren't we? So that's what they're called. Decisions-wise, terrible. Left back, I agree with the lads. Byrne was a nightmare. Even before the game, I saw him on the pitch. I even said at the Forest game, these players against Liverpool, he's going to get tortured by Salah. And he did. I thought Curtis Jones was the man of match for Liverpool, not Salah. For me, Curtis Jones ran that show easy for Liverpool. and he's going to be a great player later on. For me, the goal, the only positives I've got from the match is how good Isaac's looking now after his injuries and that and coming back. I think he looks a hell of a lot sharper now. Gordon was disappointing last night. I didn't think he was sharp as he usually is. He's the last 3 or 4 games has been the same for me. Nothing like he was in November and October where he was absolutely awesome. The middle was exposed again, unfortunately, because we haven't got a holding midfielder there who's decent enough. That's what it is. It doesn't protect the central defenders and doesn't protect the goalkeepers. It's plain to see where the problem is.
Hit the nail on the head, Spenny. Hit the nail on the head.
We're not going to do anything until we get someone in. There is a gap. See, I agree with Darren, and the gap showed last night. Liverpool were there for the taking if we were on form last night. I'll tell you that now. If our defence was on form and we had a good keeper in, and our midfield were buzzing it like they usually are, like we did in the home game, we could have had Liverpool last night. Because I wasn't really impressed at all, to be honest, with Liverpool. Yes, they controlled the game. They were attacking all over because of what we had in midfield. And then we let them attack us. We were trying to play counter-attacking football, which didn't work out.
Okay. Moving on to you, Chippers. Your views?
The way for me last night was disappointed. I was just disappointed with everything. The team lineup, I was disappointed with seeing Dan Burn in the team. I was glad Miggy was out of it because I thought it was about time he was took out. We lacked everything on that pitch. We lacked the leadership. We lacked discipline. We lacked keeping our heads on situations. There was no fight or nothing for me. It was a case of we had nobody that's going to take that game back the ball by the horn and say, I'm going to own this game. Defensive were all over Hexham. There was no leadership or organisation. There was nothing. We've got no captain figures out there. We've got nobody that'll say, you know what, you do your job, you do this job, you do that. We've got nothing. And then the goals were just, Liverpool didn't have to break stride for the goals. They had 30 efforts on goal, but the goals were preventable. And I was very disappointed with the officiating. I thought he gave everything for them, as you expect. I don't know, for the 2 disallowed goals, I don't know why the lines appear for ours, but not for theirs. I don't understand I don't understand VAR now. I thought I did, but I don't. Obviously, it's to favour, the so-called Big Six, to make sure that there's a title race. And I was just more disappointed with us with our application because, as Benny said, they were there for the taking. The times we did get them, we could get them. The midfield, there was no leader in midfield. There was nothing. There was nobody, we lack, in defence, we lack that John Terry type centre-half and the Claude McNeely type midfield. That's just kind of sit there, not want the headlines and just do the dirty jobs. We haven't got that. It's plain to say we've needed that for 18 months and we haven't got it. And if it's true about a certain player going to Dubai, then I don't get how that's allowed when, we're struggling. It's, letting the player swan off to Dubai, I don't think it's the best idea either. For me as well last night, at 0-0 at half-time, that should have been us coming out the second half thinking we're still in this game. We shouldn't have been, but we still are. But yet, again, we came out the second half and we surrendered immediately. Wasn't good enough. I did think after the penalty save from Dubravka, they ran out of ideas. I thought they're running out of ideas already here, but then second half came out and it was just the same repeat. And I was more worried about what Eddie Howe said after the game as well, saying we were starting to look more like old selves and that. I thought that was a bit, because if that's old selves conceding 4 goals a game, I don't see that, because when did we really concede 4 goals last season? I don't think we did in the game. Maybe once, maybe that's it. We're conceding far too many goals for everything. We need to just go back to basics and keeping clean sheets and sorting that defence out, because honestly, we can't keep shipping 3 to 4 goals every week, because something will give. I've said before, I don't want Howe out, but the results will dictate his future, and if it keeps happening, they will have no choice but to get rid of him.
Simple as that. Okay, Ian. I presume you had a good Christmas, Ian?
yeah. What makes you say that?
A rather subdued Ian tonight, suffering from the festivities, perhaps. But give us.
Well, yeah, I've given up quite a bit for New Year, so
well done, that man.
Feeling like I'm being given a couple of kicks square in the nuts at the moment, but yeah, I'm all right.
I did the first.
I think that yesterday proved that, I've said loads of times that intensity is our identity. Well, yesterday we looked like we have no identity, and there's been no intensity for a long time. Obviously, we can go back to all the injuries and the current injuries that we've got leading to fatigue, all that sort of stuff. But there were players on the pitch that I thought didn't look like they were trying. Now, and there's players also on the pitch for the last few games who've done nothing but whinge. Like every time I've looked at them, they've been whinging about something. I think it's healthy for a team to give each other a bit of grief and that and shout at each other, but they've just looked disjointed to me. I don't know whether anyone else is picking up on that, whether I'm just being paranoid, but Shea definitely just looks like a different human being to me. It looks just like all he's doing is whinging. That's all I can see him doing, whinging at somebody, whether it be whoever's on the left-hand side seems to be getting both barrels every 10 minutes. And, so I just think that although I think it wasn't as bad a performance as the two previous performances, and it was against Liverpool, who are more of a quality team, I don't disagree that if we were playing at our best and at our most intense with a few extra players, we'd give them a game, but we're not. And there is clearly something that's changed. It could just be the amount of games we've had to play, but I think there's something. I think the lads have lost confidence. If I'm being honest, it looks like at the moment they've lost confidence in themselves, and hopefully maybe a freshen up new loan signing and maybe a signing or two comes in and that'll sort of give them a bit of a boost. But yeah, wasn't great. And the other thing I wanted to point out as well, I know we're not probably going to be not really focusing on them, but Klopp is a monumental tart of the biggest order. When he turns his back on that penalty, what an absolute penis he is. Like if I'd have been Salah, my manager turning me back, I'd have gone over and kicked him square in the bollocks and dropped him like a sack of poo. You know what I mean? He's an absolute wet wipe, that bloke. And if ever there's an all about him, instead of Mike Dean, I'd put it forward to him as the other scouser who it's all about. You know what I mean? And anyway, I'll not say any more on that.
No, I think you got a point, and I certainly think that the way the Sky coverage that I watched last night, I wasn't at the game. I thought it was very biased. I'm not sure why there was. I'm not sure why there was no.
We scored. Never groaned in the commentary box. He scored.
He did. Yeah. I'm not sure why there wasn't a Newcastle representative last night. I mean, there may have been a reason. I mean, Shea Given's been doing a lot on Sky, and our thoughts go out to him. He's lost 2 family members over Christmas, so perhaps that was the reason that we didn't have anybody representing Newcastle on the show last night. But it was very biased. I think we all picked up on it, and rightly so. But yeah, I agree with you, and I've got to be honest, Ian. Your point about Klopp, I would probably say there was certainly in the region of 20 times the camera went over to Klopp within the game to focus on Klopp's reaction to various things. So it was making it all about him. And, then I would say that they only focused on Eddie Howe twice, but probably out of those 20 times that they focused on Klopp, I'd say at least 12 of those occasions, he was gesticulating with the bloody fourth official. He was berating the fourth official for whatever, or chewing his ear off. I mean, unbelievable, really, really unbelievable.
But Steve, the thing is, if that was Jason Tyndall doing that, how many times do you reckon he'd get away with that?
Yeah, exactly.
Twice, and he'd be off.
Yeah, there'd certainly be a yellow card handed out, but it's hard to believe that somebody like Pep Guardiola is potentially facing his second suspension this season. Yeah, Klopp seems to, just essentially seems to walk away from each game and just allowed to get away with it. Bizarre. Don't know.
Just going back to what Sam said about Wilson. Why is he over Dubai? His specialist is over Dubai. That's why he's over there.
All right, okay. Donald, good evening. Give us your views on the game yesterday. No, we can't hear you, Donald. Your sound has gone. We'll maybe you'll need to go out and come back in, mate. We'll take you out. Kevin, we'll move to you whilst Donald sorts his sound out. Give us your views on the game yesterday, mate.
Well, I agree with everything what everybody said. To be honest, there's not much else to be said, but I'll give my opinion from what I see and how I see the game. And I totally agree with Spenny and Darren. I think who said it about our midfield three. I've talked about how we, the intensity of what we press with. However, if you have a midfield three that high and no depth within that midfield three, then you're going to get done. It's one pass through the middle third. It's just, and I've said this for months. It's one pass. There's got to be, in the word is discipline from your midfield three. It doesn't matter who it is because it seems like they're rotating. Not saying Miley's that type of player. I'm not saying, but Bruno will be the one for me to do that. Because what's their lad? Endo done exactly the same for Liverpool last night. He just sat in front and pressed with when they went forward. He just sat behind and broke up play. It's not that difficult to figure out, but we can't. We just all go as a 5 or a front 8 or whatever. We just go, and it's like we've done this against Dortmund. We've done it against every team that's figured it out. Even the lowest level of coaches, we've seen it. We can figure that out. It's one ball over the top, one ball down the side, and we're done. And that's what that happened across the whole game. Yes, and well, we can't play mid and low block. We can't defend for 90 odd minutes. We just can't play that. We can't do in the counter-attacking side. We haven't got the pace to do it. But when we do it with the Isaac goal or whatever, it pays off. But again, it's that midfield three that is causing a lot of our problems. And we've banged on the drum about the rest, the tiredness, the fatigue, and all of that sort of stuff. But after Boxing Day, we've had 5 days of recovery and preparation to get that performance. One day will be a recovery cool down. Then you got 4 days to add, and they didn't fly. They didn't go down until the day of game. So they've got a lot of preparation and work that should have been done. Unfortunately, I didn't see it, to be honest. And I said on the show maybe last week, a couple of weeks ago, football's a business, yes, we know that, but it's ceilings of where people can take you. And we argued about it last week, and I think he's getting very close to it. Sunderland's going to be a massive. If he can't galvanise a team for that game, then there's questions again got to be asked. And excuse me. So I think he's walking a very tight line here, and if he doesn't get it right, pretty soon I understand the fixture list is hardest. The Premier League, of course, is meant to be hard, but if again look at his Bournemouth record, if you could reach only a certain ceiling and a certain level, then you've got to look elsewhere. And we've said pull the trigger, literally, pull the trigger. And that's just how business works. If you're not doing your job or whatever, you're underperforming. Yes, you might have success, relative success, but then if you go and want to go and beyond and go higher, you've got to self-reflect within you in terms of the person. If you get told this is how the state of play is, then you have to maybe move on. But I wouldn't move on. I would see what the summer brings and see where we are. But I just thought it was very housery from Liverpool. I thought they played the game very well. Not saying yes, they controlled it. Yes, they've done this. Yes, they've done that. Of course, you're the better side collectively at the minute. The top of the division, they had something to go for, extend their lead at the top. But from my opinion, they I wouldn't say cheated, but cheated the way through the game a little bit. They played the game. Which look, fair enough. Anybody would do that. I would tell players to do that. But again, the Jota penalty, I've never seen it. I mean, George watches lots of, most of us is older than me, but at the same time, I've never, ever seen, as long as I've got a hole in my backside, a worse decision than that all year.
Yeah.
And in my lifetime, even the crap refereeing that I get over here, somebody could figure out that if you take 2 steps and fall over that. I mean, that's disgraceful, to be perfectly honest. And look, I thought the referee kind of had a poor game. He tried to deal with it the best he can, but Liverpool played him like a good violin last night, and manipulated him from what everybody else is saying in terms of Klopp on the sideline, just chirping into the fourth official's ear every time. Show a bit of class about it. They won the game, but it is what it is. I thought it was just very poor from Liverpool across the board. I think there's a genuine hate and hatred. I'd rather see Jason Tindall go and smash that lad in the face and get a 6-game ban on the touchline. That's what I was shouting at the telly. Just go and smash him one, because that's how frustrated I was at him and his antics. Just go and hit him. You get your 6-game ban, whatever. Sit in the stand, and then we'll move on. But yeah, it was just disappointing. And again, like I said, this game coming up on Saturday morning, or my Saturday afternoon for lunchtime for you lot over there. It's a season-defining one, essentially. So disappointing, but I think we've got too much against for Sunderland, to be perfectly honest. But you just never know. It's a cup game and it's a derby, so everything goes out the window.
Okay, Alan. Yeah, I mean, look, Anfield, one win, I think, in 28 games or something like that. It's Rob Lee and Andy Cole, the last people to get a win down there in the Premier League anyway. But I mean, it's not about the result, is it? It's about the way that we've lost these games. We've lost, obviously, the last few Premier League games have been disappointing, and it's the way we're losing. We seem to have given in, I think, Alan.
Well, it's a game of fine margins, isn't it, lads? If we had beaten Luton and Nottingham Forest, we would still be in the top four race. We've lost them are the killer games that we've lost, Luton and Nottingham Forest. Yeah. Even if we got beat last night, which we truly did by a landslide, really, we would still have 35 points and would be 5 points off the top four. And what whole attitude and demeanour on the panel, everybody in the chat would be totally different. I agree with everything the lads have said so far. I thought Isak's finish, being positive, was sublime. He's a fantastic, like Spenny said, he's getting back to his best, but no service. The three in the midfield go up in a line, like Kevin said. So we've got 5 or 6 players. If you look at that first goal, it was boom, boom, boom. It went past Bruno, and then who was trying to stop the Liverpool player? Dan Burn in midfield. He was out of position, went to Diaz, he crossed it, and that was it, 1-0. And we just do not know how to cope with the attacking team. And it's been said for 3 or 4 months now on different podcasts, we need a number 6, like a Rodri, to stop the flow of attacks coming forward, because our back four is getting exposed all the time. And it's clear as everybody can see it. The spirit in the side that George mentioned, it goes out the window, George, because you keep getting beat.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. You're on a downer, and all the players go on a downer. I get disheartened because I see it every year. And I take a little bit of disagreement with you, Steve, about saying these games are not defined with. Well, where do we want to go? We want to beat these teams, Steve. These teams, to me, define with, because we haven't done it in the past as long as I've lived.
But if you want to win the title, Steve, you've got to go down. I heard a lot of comments prior to the game that everybody was fearful for Monday night. I wasn't. These games define your season going forward in the years to come, Steve. When do we have a chance of being favourites going down to Liverpool? We never have. But you've got to go there with belief. And the belief in the confidence, like the lads have said, is gone now. It's massive.
I agree with you, Alan, to a sense. I agree with you to a sense that the team and Eddie Howe need to go there with a belief. And if the supporters go down there, you go down to support your team. And if I'd been there, I would have been supporting the team. I think we overachieved last season. I think we all knew that. You've always been a very pessimistic kind of guy on this platform, and I just genuinely think that, Newcastle wants to get January out the way, and Eddie Howe gets January out the way. I think he'll be judged on the remaining games, and our run-in is a lot easier than other teams around us. And I think Newcastle could end up at where they are at the moment in 10th place, at the end of January. And I think if he gets the opportunity to continue the job, which I would imagine he will be, I don't expect Eddie Howe to be sacked at this moment in time. I don't think he'll be sacked. If we lost against Sunderland in the cup, there'll be a huge mountain of abuse for him to deal with from people online. A lot of it he won't see. But there'll be a lot of people saying a lot of things. There'll be a lot of angry people. But like always with the derby, you will move on. And the next game, you're judged on your next game. It'll hurt if you get beaten the derby, but you will move on. I think Newcastle will get through January, but then the players that come back, I've got to agree with them. I do think that if you can get a little bit of luck and get these players back once we come into the month of February and through to May, I think Eddie Howe is more than capable of turning this around, but it's whether he gets the opportunity. And this is the big question, Alan. It's whether these owners are going to give Eddie Howe the chance. We're going to learn more, not about Eddie Howe in January. We're going to learn more about the owners. And if the owners don't back Eddie Howe and Dan Ashworth with the money to buy players, and if the owners decide that they're going to get rid of Eddie Howe, then we'll know where we're at. But it's a very, very interesting thing. I don't comment a great deal in the WhatsApp groups I'm in. I sit and read what people say. And I'm obviously been lots of chat between everybody over the course of the last few days. And I'm in probably 3 Newcastle related WhatsApp groups. And, everyone's got an opinion, but, there's a lot of question marks over, not Eddie Howe, quite a few over the ownership at the minute. And like we say on this platform, we want to be the critical friend. And, I just think ultimately we're all in this position at the moment where we're all frustrated. But is it Eddie Howe's fault? No. Has Fabian Schär and Sven Botman become bad players overnight? Has Dan Burns suddenly become a bad player? Has Almiron become a bad player? No, there's something going on. Something's not right. Something has happened. But what we don't know is what is going on behind the scenes. It's not tiredness. It's not injuries. There is something going on, and we're all noticing these little spats on the pitch. Is that just because we're getting beaten? We're not used to it. We haven't been used to it for 2 years. It could be as simple as that. Or we're reading too much into the stuff that's been circulated, by the press. And are we going to have to sell a player, because of financial fair play? Is financial fair play really affecting what Newcastle United have got to do over the course of this transfer window? Hell of a lot of questions to be answered. And I think we'll get the answers by the time January comes to an end and we'll go into February. If we're still in the FA Cup and there's something to claim, we've had a decent win in the derby and we've managed to, put in some decent performances. Maybe he's got a point or two out of these next couple of league games. Things will have changed, but it's a hell of a, it's a hell of a month. It's a hell of a month.
Can I just say something, Steve? Sorry,
go on, mate.
I totally agree with what Alan said there. Everything he said there, I totally agree with. But I'll ask a question to the panel. When we played Liverpool start the season at home, did we think we could beat them? And every one of us said yes. And everyone in the chat said yes. So there's no difference for playing Liverpool now or in the beginning of the season because it was near enough the same team we had.
We should have beaten as well.
No,
we give it away.
I hate Liverpool, but they're a good team and their players are a lot better than ours. And we're down morale or whatever, but
Darren, you're saying every game we go into, we play a good team.
The first time all season.
We should just let it go and get beaten.
No, I'm saying the first time all season, they brought all the strikers on. We haven't had that opportunity. Do you know what I mean?
We haven't got a good enough bench. It's plain to see.
I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. You kind of just, I disagree with Alan. I want to be top 4 every season. We're not even anywhere near that yet. I want to be competitive in a good way, but at the same time, the last few games it tells me I'm a football fan. It tells me how many players we need to be the next level.
Oh yeah.
Well, the deciding factor last night, lads, was the subs, wasn't it? Like you said, Darren, when they brought them subs, our bench, like you say, Spenny, just couldn't compete because of the injuries. They were bringing on fantastic strikers, and we brought Amron on, and when it was 2-1, Amron should have crossed, and it would have been 2s each, and he had a shot.
The thing is, though, Alan, If our bench is all fit and the whole team's fit, our bench is still not as strong enough. It's
No.
not strong enough to what we expected to do and what the owners expected to do.
Mm-hmm. So I think of about 9 players away to be anywhere competitive each season, to be in the top 4. Last season
we need elite players in. We need elite players in that club. We need 1 or 2 elite players in that club. Liverpool's got 4 elite players.
Yeah.
We have got maybe 2 at the moment. That's it.
Yeah.
Again, it's going to take your 4 or 5 transfer windows to get them players in, to be competitive and get used to.
Yeah.
Like your Man City are used to playing your Sundays, your Saturday weekends, and your midweek. They're used to it. They've got the players who can do it. They've got elite players.
Yeah. You look at all them teams above us, Darren. Every one of them teams have the same amount of games of us.
I know.
Fair enough, we've had a bad injury list. Don't get us wrong. But it's not now. Some teams are even worse than us now.
Mm-hmm. I know. I just don't think they've got the players. It's to me like Dan Bitter. If you see, he was class in last season, but he got good. He looked good in the.
He's been found out and he's been targeted for that reason now.
Yeah. And like I said, the Liverpool game, watching for the first goal, we all knew what was going to happen. But he went running, but y'all knew Liverpool was going to score then and then. The script was ripped for it, and that just tells me he shouldn't be. I like the lad.
Okay, well let Donald speak anyway because he hasn't spoken.
Sorry.
Donald, have you got your sound?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can. Yes, go for it.
Yeah. Good. Obviously, like everybody, disappointed, and I think what yesterday showed was the levels between the two sides, where we're at, where Liverpool are at. We want to be where Liverpool are at, have a strong bench, to be able to change the game. Our injuries basically have kiboshed any, game changers. Have kiboshed. I've got basically a full team out, but I'm not going to use that as an excuse. Positives from yesterday: Isak's goal, brilliant, and being a part-time 5-a-side goalkeeper, I thought Dubs really, put in a performance yesterday. But one thing it shows yesterday, we were lacking in confidence, and if winning breeds confidence, losing definitely drains it, doesn't it? So Saturday's game is a massive. It's Jurassic Park massive. We need to get a result on Saturday. Otherwise, I think season's done, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, well, it is. It certainly is. Okay, slightly over the half-hour mark. We'll go to the ads, and then we will look ahead to the big match at the weekend. A big thanks to all our sponsors: Skips and Bins, telephone 0800 25 45 25 3, email inquiries at skipsandbins.com, website skipsandbins.com, easy contract free and pay-as-you-go waste collection. Thanks again to Mr. Vicky's Sauces, handmade in Cumbria. If you'd like to order some, then give them a call on 01768 210 102. Go to the website, mrvickys.co.uk, or drop them an email, info@mrvickys.co.uk. A big thanks to United Group Travel. They're a family firm based in Morpeth with pickups throughout the Northeast. No strangers on our tours, just people you haven't met yet. They've got a presence on Facebook and a website, unitedgrouptravel.com. If you want to make a booking, give them a call on 01670 632 460 or mobiles 0791 666 4174 0795 71 41654. Thanks to Darren Baldwin Funerals, independent funeral directors. Let us look after you in your time of need. They're based on Old Durham Road in Gateshead, and you can contact them at their website, darrenbaldwinfunerals.co.uk. Email darren@darrenbaldwinfunerals.co.uk, or give them a call, 0191 478 2730. A big thanks to Media Arts for all the help with the technical side of things. And a big thanks to New Workwear. You can find them at newworkwear.com. If you want to help the channel, hit the thumb up to subscribe, hit the subscribe button, and share to your other social media. You can also pay a one-off fee of £25 to get a scarf, a cup, a pen, and a membership card. Go to the website, nufcmatters.com, and click membership, or put your smartphone over this QR code. We also support the food bank on this channel. If you want to make some donations virtually, go to nufcfansfoodbank.co.uk and make a donation today. We're also a podcast on Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast providers. Just search NUFC Matters. I'm also a part of the Northeast Footy Brekkie Show. You can listen to that Monday to Friday, 7 till 9 at thetooneuk.com. We've also got an event coming up next year. It's in January the 19th at the Tyneside Irish Centre. It's an evening with Nobby Solano. Tickets are available on Voucher for £20. Don't forget, Supermac and Gibbo do every pre-match at Louis Liquor Store. It's free entry, children welcome, and there is great food by Fed's Fried Chicken. They're usually on pre-match and sometimes post-match at Louis Liquor Store. Okay, welcome back. George, over to you to talk about the big one at the weekend. FA Cup game, Newcastle taking on Sunderland at the Stadium of Light. Yeah, big game this, George. And form often goes out the window, which is a blessing for us, I think.
Well, it does in cup matches, but in derby matches as well. And we've got the two together this time. If you're going on form, Sunderland shouldn't have a look in, but you can't do that. It's going to be dog eat dog. There's no doubt about that. And if the collective in the dressing room can't instill into our players, although I suspect they already have, judging by what some of them are saying, how important the winning the derby match is, then we're all in trouble. No, never mind Eddie Howe. On paper, it depends which Sunderland turns up. I've watched a little bit of them on Sky this season. A couple of games they've lost, they were absolutely awful. A couple of games they won, they were absolutely fantastic. So it's it's going to be dog eat dog, as I said, and we've got to make sure our best 11 turns up on Saturday, because it's a pride one, isn't it? We'll lose that one, we're going to hear about it for the next 20 bloody years. So let's get a victory and get it off our back straight away, and put matters right. The Sunderland fans apparently are not best pleased because of the way the tickets have gone. They think we've got too many, and some of their supporters have been shifted to accommodate ours. Well, hard luck, lads. That's cup football, I'm inside of me. I'm really looking forward to it, but I won't pretend. There's not a little bug in me ear that keeps saying what if, and the what if is, oh God help me if we lose it. That's for sure.
Darren, big match. We've wanted a derby for many years, but you just couldn't predict that it would come at this time, could you? Newcastle now, can't find a win, can't find the form. Could be a turning point, though, Darren.
Well, derby day, Steve, everything changes. Your form goes out the window on the day. It's on the day, isn't it? And the players will know what derby day mean. I'm sure your Georges in the team, your long staffs, your Dan Byrne will tell each player what this means. And they look at social media, so they know what about. It's like FA Cup final, isn't it, derby day? But again, it's a must. It is a must win. It's bragging rights are no worse than getting beat off them and your mates ringing your phone and laughing at you. They'll be saying 7 in a row. We don't want that 7 in a row, so we must stop that. I don't care if we score in the last second of the game off somebody else, as long as we win. But we must win no matter what.
It'll not be 7 in a row because we've got a 1-1 draw in the last game. So they can forget that, Darren. So don't panic about that. Mitrovic got the equaliser at St James's Park. So 7 in the row, it'll not happen. Spenny?
It's life and death for me. The Sunderland game. To be honest, a bit down. We cannot lose that game. Cannot lose that game. Any game and any we play ever, we cannot lose against them. If you get beat, I'm sorry, but if he's lost the decimum or whatever it is, you're a Premiership side. You're going for top 4. You play in Europe. You can't get beat off the likes of them. As simple as that.
Simple as that, Chippers.
We can't lose to Leeds, can we? We can't lose to a place that's famous for cheesy chips and panda pops. We can't lose this game, can we? You know, we've got to go there. We're the ones that have got to put our mark on the game and keep the ball, tire them out. When they have the ball, we've got to go and press them. And they shouldn't be able to handle it. It's as simple as that. But as George said, there's that niggling of what happens if we lose, what if this happens, you know. I can't stand them. I want them to just, you know, I want us to go there, humiliate them, and then let them crawl back under their rocks until we play them again. You know, they're going on like, oh, we're going to beat the Geordies and all this rubbish. I'm thinking, you know what it is? We should, our midfield, even if it's Joe Litton, Bruno and Miley, if that midfield turns up, that midfield should be good enough for their midfield no matter what team turns up. You know, I'm not, literally, if we lose on Saturday, this is if I don't see any house surviving, unfortunately, if we lose on Saturday, because you can't lose the Derby game, and it'll be the manner of the defeat as well, I would imagine. So for me, we've got to go there and win. Nothing else. Even a replay is not good to us. We need to go there and win. It's as simple as that.
No replay, is it?
Yeah, there's a replay in this game.
Is it
Put it this way, right? Yeah. This is how it means to me. My cousin married a Mackham, and I haven't spoken for 10 years. There you go.
Donald, how important is this game?
2 seconds. I'm coming off.
He's frozen with Steve, I think.
I can hear him. I can hear him if everyone else just pauses. Donald, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you, Steve. Yeah, this is epic. This game. I mean, it's like a cup final to prove who's the unofficially top dogs in the Northeast, and we cannot, as everybody said, we cannot lose this. And a win would mean everybody happy, and also means Ted will be quiet on your radio show on Monday morning too.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, he's looking forward to it a lot more than I am. That's for certain. Ian, the Sunderland derby.
Yeah.
It's a long time coming, this game, but we just feel as if, you know, we just feel we could do without it, you know, until we find our form. But like I said before, form does go out the window, Ian.
Yeah, it goes out the window, and I think this is a good chance to be positive and say, right, let's make this the turning point. We've not got 2 games a week. I think we've got only 3 games left in January. If someone corrects if I'm wrong, I'm sure we have. So this is the point where the lads have got a bit of a rest this week. There'll be time for a bit of training, I'm sure. Eddie and Jason and all the coaching staff will be drilling them at some point. Tactically, definitely. Defensively, definitely. They'll be getting taught to. And if you put our young guns out and give the chance to, you know, a couple of the young guns and keep the backbone of the team the way it is, I can't see them getting anything. I think we'll smash them. But there's always that thing, like George said, in the back of your mind, thinking, "Oh God, what if?" You know. But yeah, man, I still feel confident. I think we've got enough about us, like to score a lot of goals and bring everyone home happy, hopefully safe, with some windows intact in them coaches that they're putting on for us for free.
Get Spenny and Chippers to do the team talk. I tell you what, if they could get a supporter, and they should give the supporter with the most loyalty points, The person who's travelled, the furthest and the most and gone to the most games, they should give them the opportunity to go in that dressing room at the weekend. That wouldn't be a bad idea, Ian.
That's a class idea.
It is, yeah.
If you only be adding peace and probably.
I tell you, well, it wouldn't be somebody like that, I don't think. I think there'll be a few people ahead of him with loyalty points. But yeah, Kevin, thoughts on the game? This atmosphere is going to be, this is going to be off the scale compared to derby games we normally have, because it's a cup game and because the 6,000 Newcastle fans going to be in the stadium of light.
Yeah, it's going to be white hot, and that's what it should be like. It's a derby day, and we haven't had one for however many years, but basically players need to take the emotion out of the game and everything of that nature and play the game itself, not the occasion. It's a big, everybody knows the magnitude of it, but the players have to be out from both sides really, but from Newcastle United siders. Play the way we play, dominate in 1v1s, and I've just scribbled down because like with George, I've seen some of this, not many of their games, I watched a little bit, but with a new guy, Beale, coming in, it's more of a 4-2-3-1. So basically we play a 4-3-3, so outnumber them across the park, if you look at it that way. And if you win your individual battle, and we overload them in certain areas, isolate their superstar, Jack Clark, apparently. If you isolate him and don't give him the ball, or place particular players on him, or whatever that looks like tactically, then I think we'll comfortably beat them, because I don't think they're as good as what everybody's spouting off about, or what you hear or what you read and all the above, the tokens or whatever and this and that. And but yeah, it's a massive game. Was there as a kid, played for them lot, so it's a bit, you always want to beat them, you always want to do that. Even in youth games, it doesn't matter what the level of the competition is, you always want to beat them, and I'm sure they're the same. But again, it's the emotion of the game. How can we control the emotion? We've got a very emotive players within our team, i.e. Bruno, i.e. Joe Linton, who so they have to control that psychologically to not get sent off, not get yellow cards, and not being drawn into a kicking match. If we go there and play football, we'll comfortably beat them.
Okay, Alan, how are you feeling going into this derby? It's all square for the lads on wins. It's this one, I think it's at 86 wins apiece for Newcastle and Sunderland. So interesting this.
Well, 4 weeks ago I thought we'd beat them 10-0. 2 weeks ago it was 5-0. Now I'm like Chippers. I just want a Dan Burn backside goal and win 1-0, and I'll be happy. I'm confident. Still, I'm confident, but that means nothing. And I totally agree with the last few sentences Kevin said. If you get emotional about this game, like Bruno and Joe Linton get sent off, and it'll be the first goal that'll decide it. If we score first, we'll win comfortably. If they score first, it's going to be nail-biting stuff, because they'll have 10 men behind the ball. But if we score first, it'll settle the crowd down. The atmosphere will be red hot, but I can see we'll win comfortably. But my brother knows the Sunderland supporter, so a life won't be living. And for me, for weeks on end, if we get beat here. So I'm not even contemplating the defeat here. Not even contemplating it. We just cannot lose this game, lads. Just cannot lose it. There are levels below us in more ways than one. And if we lose this game, well, we've totally bottled it, really have.
Yeah.
In my opinion, quality-wise, well,
agree.
Agree. Interesting. Tom Dixon saying, who do you think will play in goal at the weekend? Just a one-word answer from you lads. Alan, I'll give you the first choice. Do you think Dubravka will be rewarded for his performance at Anfield, or do you think he'll play Karius at the weekend?
I think it'll be roughly the same team, Steve, to be honest. Yeah, Dubravka for me.
Dubravka for you. Okay. Kevin, do you think he'll play Dubravka?
No, I think he'll play Karius.
Okay, Karius. Ian?
Dubs,
okay. Donald?
I think he'll give Dubravka a rest. He'll play Karius. Give him some game time.
Chippers?
I think he'll play Dubravka, and I think he'll play Kraft at right back and Livramento at left back, and he'll take Burn out of the team.
Okay. Spenny.
I'll put
Dubravka or
Darren in
Karius?
goal, mate. I'll put Darren in goal, mate.
Would you?
You're feeling all.
Have you asked Darren?
Dubs, I'll put Dubs in.
Dubravka, okay. Darren, I mean, I'm sure you'd love a chance to play in goal in a derby match, Darren.
Nice. See me playing goal, see if I'm useless. Kind of that's the bond up.
You'll be all right. You'll just chin them.
This game's not about resting players. You can't afford rest players. Yeah, you play a strongest team no matter what. Dubravka in goal.
Dubravka in goal. Okay, George.
Your choice would be Dubravka, but I think he'll play Karius. The manager's got his own ideas, and I think he'll put Karius in to give Karius a game and Dubravka a rest.
Yeah, I think he'll play Dubravka because I think half of our half the issues that we've had with the back four alone have been down to the fact that we've lost that organisational skill that clearly Nick Pope has. The goalkeeping position is often the one described as the best position for seeing everything in front of you. And I just guess that that's the reason we're conceding goals like they're going out of fashion, because Dubravka has a different way of doing things. Maybe Dubravka just doesn't communicate with the back four, and I just can't see him. I can't see him changing it though. I think he'll keep Dubravka in. Will be interesting. We will see. All right, we're coming up towards the end of the show, so George, we'll come to you for your prediction for the Sunderland game. I know you're going to be back on again tomorrow and on Friday, but give us your prediction tonight, George. How do you see the game going? Is it going to be a straightforward win, or Sunderland going to win, or are we going to go to a replay?
No, 3-0 Newcastle.
3-0
positive about it. Yeah,
3-0 to Newcastle. Okay, Darren.
2-1 win.
2-1 win. Okay, Spenny.
We had Sears 8 now. We had Sears 5 now, so I'm going with my heart 5-0. Is it Adric?
5-0. Isaac hat-trick. Chippers.
Stu Penman 3-1. Isaac, Bruno, and I'm going to say Joe Linton.
All right, good stuff. Donald.
I'm going to go 3-0 to the Toon. Isaac with a brace.
All right, Ian.
5-1. Isak hat-trick.
All right, good stuff, Kevin.
Just like the last time I was at that horrible place, we'll go and beat them 4-1.
4-1. All right, Alan, you was confident?
Snap, 4-1 for me.
4-1.
Words on you out, Kevin. 4-1 for me.
They won't score with Darren in goal.
Aye, and that's their point, like, you know what I mean? I'm like Powell served yet.
Okay, and Adiri, I have seen your messages tonight, but we haven't had much chance to get to the comments. But he says Sunderland 0. So there we go. As long as they get 0, Adiri, we've got a chance of winning. Thanks for your comments. And I do laugh because I met Julie at the weekend, and Adiri, my name is Wraith. I think that's what she was trying to tell you in the chat. So it's just the spelling of it. But that's not the reason I was ignoring you tonight. It's just obviously we don't have much time for the comments. I'm back tomorrow. I am back at 6 o'clock, and it'll be the lads on Geordie's here. Geordie's there. So look forward to seeing you all tomorrow night. But for now, from the Fans Forum, good night. Take care, lads. See you soon.
Hey, boys.
Have a good one.
Night. 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 Night.